Are Chelsea in a second half of the season collapse? Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around Chelsea Football Club, who not so long ago, we were talking about Chelsea as a potential title contending outfit for this season. As early as it may have seemed, Chelsea's first half of the season was going extremely well to the point where people were throwing them into the conversation of potentially being a title contender for this very campaign. However, though, it does seem like things in football can change very drastically in a short space of time, and that's exactly what's happened with Chelsea. Over the busy Christmas and New Year period, things kind of took a downward spiral, and things haven't quite picked up since, to the point now where Chelsea find themselves 6th in the table and possibly enduring a second half of the season collapse. Now, it has been a fantastic season for Chelsea up until that midway point. So, what's gone wrong at Chelsea? The aftermath of yesterday's 3-1 defeat against Manchester City has sparked some questions. We're going to be talking about Chelsea. We're going to be talking about the second half of the season. We're going to talk about Enzo Maresca, the players, and what they may need from what remains of this January transfer window and everything else in between. But before we go any further in discussing all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, that I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So please do get involved, people. Would love to hear what you have to say. Use that comment section and talk to me on this very intriguing topic of discussion. Right, sound good? Fantastic. Let's go on with the video then, shall we? Let's talk Chelsea and everything to do with Chelsea Football Club right now. Yesterday, Chelsea lost 3-1 to Manchester City, and it seemed like it was going very, very well for Chelsea in the opening 5-10 minutes or so. They piled on the pressure, they got a very early goal. One of City's new debutants was thrown into a horrible opening 5 or 10 minutes or so, in which not only did he concede a goal and gave away a massive mistake to concede a goal, but also picked up a yellow card as well. Chelsea went ahead 1-0 through Noni Madueke, and then had a very good golden opportunity to make it 2-0. Palmer's pass across the face of goal was just not good enough. And you're thinking from there, City haven't quite recovered from their defeat midweek, their horrific collapse themselves against PSG in the Champions League. Chelsea was sensing blood here. City were obviously coming into this one in mediocre form by their standards, considering, like, okay, they picked up a couple of good results past couple of weeks, but, you know, by City standards, it wasn't good enough, and it hasn't been good enough for most part of this season. And you just thought that with Chelsea getting the opening goal, Chelsea were going to sense blood and go for the kill. And then after, like, the first 10-15 minutes or so, they dropped off. They dropped off completely, and it allowed City back into the game. It allowed City to regain their composure. Guardiola made a few tweaks. I think the biggest of the tweaks was obviously going more direct. One thing we associate with Pep Guardiola's brand of football is that he has a plan A, and plan B is essentially just to do plan A better. And yesterday what we saw is with the new additions that he's made with his squad, Omar Marouche in particular looked a dangerous threat all game. But what it did allow was Guardiola to go a lot more direct. It allowed him to go a lot more direct, right? Ederson looking long to Erling Haaland. How many times have we seen a Pep Guardiola style of play where he's going completely direct? Extremely rarely have we ever seen that from Guardiola. I think that caught Chelsea off guard a little bit. But as the first half wore on, Chelsea were just kind of caught in limbo, didn't know whether to stick, didn't know whether to twist. And eventually when they did decide to sort of hold on to what they had, it was too little too late, because City were already piling on the pressure, and eventually they got their equaliser through Josko Gvardiol. Second half hits, Chelsea again they're not doing anything. They're just kind of sat back, and they've got like very little threat going forward. They're very toothless. Their midfield is falling apart. And it's only a matter of time before City score. And City actually did score. And again, it's the goalkeeper who we've mentioned time and time again this season at fault. He's caught in no man's land. Haaland manages to shrug off the challenger. I think it was Shalaba. Cuts inside from the right wing on his left foot and just loops the ball over the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. And then Phil Foden, of course, wraps up the game later on in that second half. Fine finish to make it 3-1 to City. City going more direct caught Chelsea off guard, and there's obviously a lot more to unpack there for City, talking about the new kind of additions that City have made to their squad this January and all of that stuff. But I want to focus on Chelsea for this particular one because it hasn't, like I said, it hasn't exactly been the best of run-ins, the best of runs for Chelsea so far. They've been in a very poor vein of form over the Christmas period, over the New Year period, and it's kind of sank into the middle of January as well. Not even a result against Wolves on Monday could pull them out of the kind of run that they are in right now. They are in a very poor vein of form. And there could be a fair few things to do with that. Number one, is it down to the head coach? Look, not a lot of people will say that the head coach has done... a fair few people might say the head coach hasn't done a lot wrong in his opening, 6, 7, 8 months in charge of Chelsea. And things may only start to be falling apart over the course of the past month or so. Which I think with a lot of Chelsea fans, they'll take that because obviously new squad, new manager, some big additions being made in the summer, that kind of thing. It will take time to gel and cement in place. So I kind of get that. But there was talk at Leicester that Enzo Maresca suffered a second half of the season collapse. We obviously saw that from the way that they had a pretty considerable cushion at the top of the championship and obviously let that slip. Are we seeing a similar sort of pattern here where the intensity and the tenacity of Maresca's style of play may be catching up to these players? Is that potentially the case? And if so, that leads on to my next point. Are some of the players at fault? Some of the individual talent? Cole Palmer hasn't, in my opinion, been exactly at 100% this past month or two. Is he maybe carrying a bit of a knock? We obviously heard that for the Wolves game there was a threat that he may be rested because maybe he was carrying something. Maybe he still is. Maybe he has been carrying something for a long time, but for one reason or another, they don't want to rest him. Certain other individual players just not quite been at the races. Enzo Maresca had a bit of a purple patch. Enzo Fernandez, I know he may have been injured a little bit, but I still think we should expect more from a £115 million signing. Obviously, Reece James, his legs are made of biscuits. We are not going to be talking much about that, but even Levi Colwill, the defence, we obviously know about Chelsea's defensive issues. Nicholas Jackson completely dropped off the boil as well. Doesn't matter what kind of wingers as well. Madueke seems to dribble for the sake of dribbling. Doesn't really have much of an end product, in all honesty. I know he scored yesterday, and I know his all-round performances sometimes are not that bad, but even so, maybe you're expecting more development from him. I don't know. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm looking at this from the outside looking in. I'm not looking at it quite as in-depth as what Chelsea is, but I would still be expecting and demanding more from these types of players. And then above all else, the goalkeeper situation is absolutely horrendous. Like, Robert Sanchez continues to play in goal, even though he continues to make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And it's... I've said it before, I'll say it again. Chelsea have about 8 goalkeepers, and I know that to a lot of Chelsea fans may seem like it is a washed agenda and it's just a stupid remark to make. But at the same time, I can't imagine any of your goalkeepers going through the ranks at Chelsea from youth academy level to under 16, under 18, under 21, under 23, whatever kind of bracket you have. I can't imagine any of those goalkeepers are any worse than what Robert Sanchez is right now. So why not give them a chance? Why not play them? Because the worst you're going to get from them is the same level as what Robert Sanchez is giving you right now. That's the reality of it. Your under 23 goalkeeper surely can't be worse than what Robert Sanchez is at a senior level. And that goes for any other goalkeeper because he continues to make horrific mistakes. And he made a couple of horrific mistakes yesterday. His distribution is often poor. His positioning is poor. His shot stopping is poor. He's just a very poor goalkeeper. And you decided to get rid of a goalkeeper in Kepa, albeit on loan, in order to make way for this guy. Who's making that decision? And again, it may fall on Enzo Maresca, this kind of thing, for not just the goalkeeper, but for all the other players that I've talked about previously, as to why he keeps picking them. That may fall on Maresca's shoulders as well. You can maybe criticise him in terms of a tactical approach. You can maybe criticise him in terms of a I don't know, tactical substitution approach, whatever. But he keeps on picking these same kind of personnel changes week in, week out to his game, and it's not quite working out to the best of its ability. It's, again, I think, given the way that Chelsea have started the season, given the way that obviously things have been going since, given the way that you've been spending a lot of money, things probably should be demanding a little better. And then that's where the board come in, because there's no doubt about it. Chelsea have played some very good football this season. There have been some issues, though, in that Chelsea squad. And they are issues that are mainly apparent at either end of the pitch. I'm talking the goalkeeper, and I'm talking striker. There are players out there that are better than Robert Sanchez. Chelsea may already have some in the 8 goalkeepers that they may have within their ranks right now. Like I say, they can't be any worse. But even so, going out there, making a statement, making a splash on a decent goalkeeper wouldn't be out the realms of possibility and should be probably demanded. Because the longer that you have Sanchez, the more you can maybe kiss goodbye Champions League football for next season. And that is something that you desperately, desperately need if you're Chelsea, given the fact that you've rolled the dice and you've gambled so heavily on very, very long-term contracts and obviously a ton of players walking through the door at Stamford Bridge at various points over the past couple of years or so. You need Champions League football, but it's very unlikely that you're going to obtain it with Robert Sanchez. And if you're not going to obtain Champions League football, you can maybe kiss away any aspirations of going any higher than that. Then you look at the striker situation. Nicholas Jackson, for me, not a striker. Well, not a clinical enough striker that will carry Chelsea forward. He's not a striker that will take Chelsea forward into latter stages of games, of league phases, of Champions Leagues, of cup competitions where the pressure is extremely heavy. He's not that guy. He'll go through purple patches. He'll be great to bring on as a secondary option. He'll be great as a rotation option, but he's not the guy to be the clinical enough finisher that you need. And as I mentioned with Arsenal the other day, it was talking about Chelsea because we were talking the other day, weren't we, about Chelsea going after Alejandro Garnacho. And yesterday kind of proved that you can bring Garnacho in as much as you want. It ain't going to change things at Chelsea in terms of the creation aspect and in terms of the finishing off your chances aspect. We talked the other day. There are about 4 strikers currently out there that are obtainable. and that are probably out there for decent money. Starting at the bottom, you probably have your Benjamin Sesko and your Dusan Vlahovic. And then moving up, you've got your Victor Osimhen and your Victor Gyökeres. They are your strikers that are currently available. Those are your strikers that Chelsea should be looking at as far as taking this club forward and upgrading in a very, very big area of the squad and of the pitch. Buy those players, buy one of those players, instant improvement in my opinion. Buy a goalkeeper and a striker, and Chelsea could be looking at a very, very, very interesting and decent second half of the season, in which silverware isn't out of the realms of possibility. I'm not technically counting the Europa Conference League because they definitely should be winning that competition, but I'm talking FA Cup. I'm talking qualifying for Champions League next season. Those are the kind of things that, with a striker at the helm that is going to be ice cold in front of goal, and with a goalkeeper that is at least competent between the sticks, could drag Chelsea forward if they make the right additions. Chelsea fans need to get on this. They need to get on their owners. They need to get on the recruitment, because the recruitment simply has not been good enough in specific areas. 100% get that. But the foundation's there. The thing, it's ready to be built upon. It just needs tweaks. Because there's no doubt about it, the midfield is strong enough as it is. I'm looking at Romeo Lavia and thinking, quality talent, but if he ain't going to be match fit, useless. May sound harsh, but it's the reality of the situation. I'm looking at your attacking line and I'm thinking, it just lacks an ice-cold finisher. Ice-cold finisher. The defence is still a work in progress, but at least you can get by that until the end of the season and then look to address those problems. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this this Chelsea setup right now? What do you think is in Chelsea's future improvement? What do you think they need to improve on? Where do you think Chelsea go from here? And where do you think Chelsea will finish come the end of this campaign? Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, in the comment section down below. Use and abuse that comment section, people, and talk to me on this particular topic. We'd love to know what you guys have to say on this. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your continued or even brand new support to the channel. Very much appreciated by me, so thank you all so much for that. Will never be taken for granted and will always be greatly appreciated from you guys, because you guys are awesome. So thank you all so much for supporting myself and the channel. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you speak all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for watching. Take care, enjoy the rest of your day. See you again very, very soon.